Hi, Sagittarius. Welcome to your April 2020 Astrology 33 bonus love reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you interested in booking a personal reading with me, just check out the description of the video for more details. As far as what we have in front of us, this is why I call it Bridging the Gap spread. And the way it works is the cards on the left side represent your energy toward the connection with your main love interest. Cards on the right side represent their energy toward the connection. And these are the past energies, present energies, and future energies. Then once we get through those, we'll actually pull some oracle cards to gain some additional insight. That's where the bridge and the gap dynamic comes into play. And as far as the decks being used, on the left side we have the Lover's Path Tarot, and on the right side we have the Tarot of Sexual Magic. Alright, and also I do have to say, this is a general reading, so if you feel more like the cards that I describe on this side sound more like the other person, and the cards on this side sound like you, then definitely trust that as well. And also I want to add, in this particular case, for your spread, this looks like a really straightforward message to me. So usually when that happens, for some of you it might feel like almost a personal reading, but then for others of you it might not resonate at all. So if that's the case, try not to make it fit. You could just check out the videos for your other placements. Alright, so with all that out of the way, on the left side, which is your side, past energy on your side, we have the Judgment card. So this actually represents a situation coming back around from the past. And for me, I view this as the rebirth energy of the Scorpio energy. So for you guys, Scorpio is your 12th house. And we also had a Mercury retrograde in Pisces, which is the natural 12th house. So for a lot of you, I feel like this is saying that this was someone that came back into the picture for you during that Mercury retrograde that we recently had. And, made a love offer to you. I'm not sure if this was someone you were already in a relationship with, or if there was just interest between the two of you, and then maybe you guys just didn't have the opportunity to get off the ground in the past. But yeah, I feel like they did come back in the past. For the vast majority of you, I feel like it was them coming back and not you coming back to them. But that's what I'm seeing there. Past energy on their side, we have the Ace of Pentacles, the Five of Wands, and the Magician. So these cards coming up together. First, there's one thing that I noticed with this card that I never noticed before, and that was the 3 candles. So there's 3 candles there for one. The 5 of Wands definitely looks like a deceptive energy in this deck, right? Looks like this person's watching from a distance. And then the Magician, in that regard, can also be deception. So really the first thing that I got from these 3 cards is that I have a feeling that this person came back in the picture either while they were still in another connection, or possibly, yeah, I mean, that's really what I'm getting there. Like, that's what's jumping out to me the most, is that they came back around to you, maybe tried to tell you that they were single, but really they were still involved with someone else. And that's what I'm getting with that Magician energy there. Now, if we were to look at it another way, I really, like I said, for the majority of you, I feel like that's exactly how it's playing out. But since the Magician is in the upright, if we wanted to look at it another way, the only other way I could see it playing out is maybe if someone had accused them of doing something in the past. With this Magician energy, maybe they were actually able to clear their name. So maybe that was what happened. Maybe there was someone who might have been jealous, for example, who might have told them spread a rumor about them, and then maybe they were able to clear their name in the past, and you guys were able to get things off the ground in that regard. So, but if I'm being perfectly honest with you, I feel like that would be the case maybe for 20% of you, whereas 80% of you, I feel like this was someone who was, keeping another connection hidden at the time. In the present energy, we have the 5 of Cups, which is actually more Scorpio energy, so more 12th house energy for you guys, and Balance, which is actually the major arcana for your sign. So, I mean, pretty big contrast in energies here, right? But what I'm really feeling this as is this could just be saying that, again, that retrograde fog cleared up for you guys, and then maybe you came to the realization of what was going on with this person with the deception. And because of that, you're able to just put it behind you. Like, okay, you know what? It was a mistake for me to get, involved with this person again. And if that's the case, it looks like you guys will bounce back pretty quickly. And I do have to say, what stands out to me here too is we have Venus on the card, and Venus will be in your opposite sign pretty early on in April. And it's actually going to be there for about 4 months because there's eventually going to be a retrograde in that sign. But yeah, so having Venus come into your opposite sign might, maybe even bring a new connection your way rather quickly. But again, like I said, for the other 20% of you, again, this could be maybe you put that disappointment behind you because maybe you thought that there was something going on, right? And maybe they did clear their name, and now because of that, you're actually happy and balance gets restored in the connection. So for some of you, that could be how it's playing out too. Present energy on their side is the Seven of Wands. So this is more Leo energy here, just like that Five of Wands energy. So maybe some of you are dealing with the Leo, but with this energy here, usually it represents defending yourself and successfully so. So that's why I'm saying for yes, for a smaller percentage of you, it could really be that this person, there was some kind of false accusation in the past, and now that's getting cleared up and you guys are actually on the right path together. But I still feel for the majority of you, it's the other way around, where they actually were being deceptive, and usually the Seven of Wands represents defending yourself successfully. And, but if we look at the artwork here, his facial expression just looks a little bit shady, right? And then I also we see the red dress there, which to me represents that passionate energy. And then his color is almost a very neutral, cold type color, right? So that makes me think of someone who's, very cold and detached. So, whereas you might have had that great passion for this person, they might have just been, looking for one thing basically. So that's what I'm seeing there. But like I said, it could play out still for that much smaller percentage view that this could be someone who actually did successfully defend themselves and got the connection back on track. Future energy, we have the Six of Arrows. So this is actually Aquarius energy here, which for you guys is your house of communication. And also this usually represents moving on to calmer waters. So I feel like for some of you, this again could be that you come to that realization that something was up, right? Like I said, especially if this was someone that did come back during the retrograde, I would say that really that increases the likelihood of there being deception at play. Maybe once that energy with the retrograde and the shadow period clears up, you guys come to that realization like, okay, obviously, this was a bad idea on my part, and you just move on, and successfully so, I feel like, for most of you. Maybe there'll be some disappointment. I mean, she doesn't look super happy if we look at the artwork. But, at the same time, I do see that you guys would move forward. And at the bottom of the deck on your side, we also have the Ace of Arrows. So that could definitely represent some insight around the situation that comes to you, ever through someone else, or, maybe just come to that conclusion on your own. Future energy on their side, we have the King of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy here. But what stands out to me with this is, looks like he's being the aggressor there, right? Again, we see those colors, right? The red this time on him. And then she has almost like the more neutral, cold color. And obviously it looks like she's shying away from the advance, right? So I feel like this is saying that, maybe they're trying to come forward toward you, and maybe because you already came to that realization that they were up to something and you're already in that Six of Arrows mode where you're moving on, this is saying that, you're resisting their advances, basically. So I feel like they would still persist and try to, pursue you. But obviously, if you did discover that there was some deception, I feel like you guys wouldn't actually want to go down that road with them again. So that could be what this is representing there. And yeah, I mean, there's no other real way for me to spin that one as far as for the other scenario where maybe they actually were being truthful, right? Because if that were the case and what you found out was that they were being truthful and there wasn't deception, then why would you have been shying away from their advance, right? So That's what I'm seeing there for the majority of you. This is you already distancing yourself from them and saying, like, all right, it was a mistake, and trying to move on, basically. And the bottom of the deck on their side, we have the Two of Pentacles. So, of course, the Two of Pentacles in the traditional tarot, we see quite literally someone juggling, right? Like they have the two pentacles, they're trying to balance them out. So, again, that could represent, like I said, that they might have been in another connection and trying to pursue something with you. And what stands out to me with this artwork in this deck, too, is the person looks like, a little bit reluctant to touch the person, right? So, different from that King of Pentacles energy, but what that makes me think of almost is like someone creeping into the house in the middle of the night, right? They were with the other person and then they're coming back into the house and trying to, be with the other person that they're dealing with. So that's what I'm seeing there. I mean, we'll see. Maybe the Oracle cards will add a whole different angle to this, but I'm really feeling like for the vast majority of you, like I said, probably 80% of you, if this story resonates at all, I would say for 80% of you, there actually is a very deceptive energy on this side, but we'll see. Like I said, maybe the Oracle cards will humble me and say something completely different. So, first, we'll see if we get anything from the Mystic Moon Oracle deck here. And for those of you who haven't seen this type of reading from me before, what I do is actually pre-shuffle the deck before we start recording. And what I'm looking for here is just a couple of jumpers. So first I'll be looking for any unspoken messages from you to them, and then from them to you. And if I shuffle for a while and nothing comes up, I just take that as a sign to keep moving, since it's just a general reading. That would just mean that, there were no additional messages there. But, like I said, first we'll see if we get any unspoken messages from you to them. Okay, nothing coming up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. Okay, got two cards actually. And next we'll see if we have any unspoken messages from them to you. Okay, nothing coming up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles here too. Okay, yeah, nothing coming up there. So, let's see. We have I can't ignore the signs I'm receiving any longer, and I'm more affected than you know. Interesting, slightly vague statements in a way, but at the same time, I can't ignore the signs I'm receiving any longer, and I'm more affected than you know. The part about I can't ignore the signs I'm receiving any longer makes me think more of the Ace of Arrows energy, where, like I said, maybe you get some insight around what's actually going on in the connection, right? So, again, if maybe you felt there was some deception when they, came back around, like, oh, something just doesn't seem right. That could be what that's pointing to there, and that Ace of Arrows being that information you get some clarity around the situation. And then the I'm more affected than you know, that makes me think of the Five of Cups energy that we see there, right? Where we see the clear disappointment. Like I said, for most of you, it looks like it would be rather short-lived, which is the one good thing, since we see the balance there, which is the major arcana card for your sign. So yeah, I mean, obviously, Five of Cups is definitely an energy of disappointment. But like I said, maybe because you guys are going to have Venus in your opposite sign, maybe that just brings so many other opportunities on board for you that you don't really have too much time to dwell, and maybe you just take it as a lesson learned and keep moving forward. All right. Next, we'll see if we get anything from the Wisdom of the Oracle deck. Same situation here. I did pre-shuffle this deck, but here we're just looking for one card, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, nothing's coming up yet, but I'll give it a few more shuffles. And worst case with this one, if we don't get anything, I'll actually just pull a card. But I do prefer to get jumpers with the oracle cards. Okay, got one there actually. Alright, we have a leg up. There's the artwork, and the number is 34. So let's see what that says. Okay, it says receiving help, delegating authority, interdependence. The Oracle's message. You've come to a point where going it alone is no longer optimal for you. Life has a way of presenting you with the perfect people to align with who can give you a leg up during this next phase of your journey. Help comes to you in all the areas of your life where you need a boost. The trick is to accept that aid so freely given. When you embrace interdependence, allowing teamwork and independence to commingle, miracles happen. Now is such a time. So definitely an interesting message there. And let's see what the actual relationship message says though. It says relationships that are healthy thrive on interdependence. It's important to recognize that you need others as much as they need you. You must allow people to support you just as you are there for them. This is a time to be vulnerable, to speak up about your needs, and to ask for them to be fulfilled. Trust, you will be met with kindness and love. Don't expect others to read your mind, though. Ask and it is given. So, definitely an interesting message there. I don't really see it how it fits in with this particular context. Unless maybe the only thing I could possibly think of is if this really is just where you have some suspicion but without proof. Maybe it's saying you need to let them know your concerns, and maybe that's what that Five of Cups represents there too, where it's like you're stuck in your head about wondering if something's going on, but you're not really sure. Um, but I mean, even that, I feel like, quite frankly, is a bit of a stretch. Like, I feel like this feels like a totally separate message for you guys, but hopefully it does resonate in some way, shape, or form. Um, Trying to see if anything else comes to mind with that. Yeah, I mean, no, that's pretty much all I have. So, like I said, this definitely might be one of those readings that resonates only for a small group of you, but for those of you where it did, hopefully that helped you out. We'll wrap up there, and I'll see you all next month. All right.